Testing the microphone. 1, 2, 3. All right, increasing the volume a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, so today we're going to be continuing kind of our Unreal Engine 5 exploration. In particular, today we're going to be looking at Blueprint's visual scripting, which is a node-based scripting language. These kind of node-based scripting languages are very popular in game engines and modeling tools. And yeah, they're basically like writing code, but rather than writing it all out in text, you're making these little nodes and connecting them together, maybe changing values within those nodes. So let's go ahead and start with some of these. So these were introduced in Unreal Engine 4. Blueprints are basically U classes, so they're basically a C++ class. You can add, customize, implement custom language, respond to events and interactions, define custom variables, handle input, and generally create fully custom object types. So, right, this is really the abstraction behind blueprints are basically C++ code. So the same kind of object-oriented stuff you would have, such as, for example, a constructor, which is kind of like the init function in Python, which is run whenever the object is created. In this case, the object is the U class or the blueprint. The script can dynamically construct the actor instance. In this sense, a blueprint can also be thought as a very powerful prefab. So prefab, this is another terminology that I recognize from Unity, and basically it means objects, 3D things that are prefabricated. So you specify the mesh, the texture, maybe you bake the lights such that when you load it into the game at runtime, you don't need to build it, right? It's already done. And maybe if you have multiple instances of it, it comes out easier. Introduction to blueprints. Okay, here, more text. Blueprints, complete gameplay scripting system, node-based interface. It's used to define object-oriented classes or objects. Blueprints, objects defined using blueprint. Okay, system is flexible, blueprint available. Okay, so you can, it seems like here, right, you have to kind of choose. But they do specify here, you can add blueprints to a C++ project and C++ to a blueprint project later. So I think maybe a topic for a future video will be comparing these two. I'd be curious to see which one kind of results better and in terms of development speed and flexibility and maybe even performance. They connect nodes, events, functions, and variables with wires. Okay, wires I think are the little node or the little connections between nodes. Graphs, right? Directed acyclic graphs. I'm not sure if it's an acyclic graph, so a lot of times people will say DAG, right? Directed acyclic graph, which basically means that there's no cycles, right? So A goes to B goes to D, but if D had an arrow that goes to A, there is a cycle in there. So DAG just means that there isn't a loop within the graph. All right, so Blueprints are visually scripted additions. What is this blueprint overview? Okay, this is just the different parts of a blueprint. I think that's literally what we're reading here. Graphs of nodes. Most common types are level blueprints and blueprint classes. So why don't we go ahead and make a project here. Let's call it blueprint test. We're going to create that. All right, so while that go aheads and creates, did this crash? This might have crashed. All right, well, while that goes ahead and does its thing, let's continue to read this. Kismet. This is an Egyptian god, right? Turkish fate. So Kismet just means fate in Turkish. Okay. Each level has its own level blueprint and can reference and manipulate actors within the level, control cinematics, manage things like level streaming, checkpoints, other level related systems. So a lot of the kind of game logic, right, which is based around this idea of levels and events that change the environment and the actors within the environment, is put inside blueprint classes, right? And they specifically say that levels are a very common blueprint here. What else can blueprints do? Okay, create customizable prefabs with construction scripts, right? So the constructor, again, the U class is going to have a constructor, native constructor, right? And then inside this constructor, you can create specific parts. Or you can have a bunch of code, or in this case, a bunch of nodes that build the prefab or modify it in such a way that it's scene dependent. Right, the construction executes when an actor is placed or updated in the editor, but not during gameplay. So only on initialization, such as a light fixture that automatically updates its material to match the color and brightness, or a blueprint that randomly scatters foliage meshes over an area. Blueprint constructor script arranges the various static meshes and lights according to the parameters of the blueprint detail panel. All right, so actually this finished here. Let's go ahead and put that there. So we have here a scene. We have some objects here, chamfer cube, player start. Selection mode, blueprints, open level blueprint, open blueprint class. There's a couple different blueprint classes here. Why don't we open the level blueprint? Okay, so we have the graph. So nothing here. Nothing here. Let's delete this function. Macros, variables, event distance, my blueprint. How come there's no blueprints here? Let's close out of that. Shouldn't these type of things have a blueprint? Or maybe there's no blueprints for a reason. The parameters exposed in the bluetails detail. Okay. Construction script. Blueprint, time creating. Okay. You can use blueprints to create a playable game character. When you create a new character blueprint, sometimes comes, okay. Moving around, blah, 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 different movements, input events. You can create a HUD, heads-up display. Right, you could have different buttons with different sequences, or different buttons that cause an event, and then those events lead to specific behavior. Health bar, objective markers. You will be using blueprint elements assembled in a blueprint editor. The blueprint editor. How do we open up the blueprint editor? UE5 blueprint editor. Shortcut. Find in Control B. Alright, so let's go here. Let's say Control B. Characters. Mannequin. Basic shapes. There is no blueprint folder here, right? This is kind of annoying. Where are these blueprints? These are C++ classes, behavior tree type, BT node, a bunch of different types of nodes, status bar, stats viewer, cooker stats, primitive stats. What is this? Don't save. Alright. Different properties. This is all, is this a CPP project? Okay, interface breakdown. Okay, I think we're starting to kind of reach the limit here. Blueprint editors and classes. You will find blueprint elements. Central graph tab. Open the project's game mode base blueprint. Okay, so we have a couple different blueprints here. We have the world override, and then we have the project settings. Let's actually open that. Okay. Can this be seen in a graph mode? This is a data-only blueprint, so only the default values are shown. If you want to add some, open the full blueprint editor. Okay, so this is different details of components. Why do we still not see a single node in these blueprint editors? Let's go back. Let's see if there's actually a tutorial here. Anatomy, blueprints, quick start. I think this one actually has examples. Okay. So create a new one. They want you to start from the side scroller. Let's start from this kind of top-down one here. What happens if you actually hit play? Okay, so this is kind of like a little RTS setup here. Okay. Create the project. All right, so now you're in this side scroller. Okay. You will now build a launch pad and convert it to a blueprint crest so you can add your behavior to it. First, move around the blueprint. We're going to create the container to hold all the parts of our launch pad by using the empty actor. In the modes, select to place actors. Which one do we want? We want selection to displace the place actors, and then we're going to quickly add the place actor panel. Okay. Click on basic and then find the empty actor. Okay. Let's actually make this big here because this is way too small. All right, so we're gonna put a trigger box, trigger sphere, actor. I think we already have an actor, right? That's what our little box right there is. Player start. Text rendered actor. Let's hit F to focus on that. All right. Place actor, basic, empty actor. Okay. Actor. And let's put it right here. Okay, now that you have the actor selected in the level, open the properties of the details. Go ahead and click the box and give it a new name like Launchpad. So we're going to go ahead and name this, and we're going to call it Launchpad. In the details, add component and select cube under common. Okay. So we're going to add a component to this blueprint, this actor, and we're going to add a cube. And we actually see there that we added a cube to this component. Okay. Then we're going to add a box collision component. All right, so it will fire off whenever something overlaps it. In the details panel, click the add component and then select box collision. Okay. So we have here, right, the details for this launch pad, and we see that, for example, the player start here has a capsule component. Our launch pad has a default root, and then it has a cube. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a box collision. Okay. Box collision. Change the box collision scale so that the box covers and extends above the launch pad. Okay. So we're going to take the actual cube itself. Ooh. Let's actually scale this. How do we, what's the shortcut for scaling? Unreal Engine 5 hotkeys. Scale R. Landscape, brush editing. Okay, so let's see if we can same size as this box, except we're going to make it extend a little bit further. So, all right, we have our little launch pad. It has the cube underneath, and then the box collision on top of that, with the cube being a little bit bigger. Again, and then the shortcuts here: S for scale, S for movement, and then R for scaling. Let's go ahead and save that. Control Shift S and Control S for saving. Okay. Control W. You can click on Launchpad and add components. Know that you have your actor the way you want it. We will turn it into a blueprint class. You can add more components inside the blueprint editor. Convert your actor into a blueprint class. Finish step. Cool. Let's click that button up here too. So look at that. We make progress. Okay. So in the details, click on the blueprint add script panel. Okay, so we don't have that. This blueprint add script. Maybe it's because we're not selecting the right thing. Let's select the launchpad again. Yeah, maybe we just can't do that. Why don't we say add new blueprint script component. There you go. Dialog box, we're going to edit the default path. Change the path from kind of the root to the folder that's the blueprint within it. Okay. Common classes. Reusable component that can be added to any actor, camera component, directional light component, different type of generic ones. Let's do an actor component. And we're going to make a new folder here. What are we going to call this? Launchpad. And let's put it inside the top-down scene, inside the blueprints folder. And we're going to put it in here, create blueprint class. All right, so inside of our top-down scene, there's a blueprint folder, and then inside that blueprint folder, we have a couple different blueprint classes here. So one thing I'm noticing here is that all of these pre-built blueprints have this BP underscore. So I'm going to go ahead and rename this to BP Launchpad, just to kind of keep it consistent. Okay. All right, and now we have here the blueprint editor. And this is actually what we wanted. So let's go ahead and save, go back to here. And you should be able to see it in the content browser. Yep, and that's what popped up for us. So create your starting point. To start adding behavior, you need to open it in the blueprint editor. Double-click the blueprint class in the content browser. The blueprint editor will open, and you can see your cube and box components in a viewport. Is that true? I don't think that's true. I don't think we're seeing any where is the viewport? Variables, add, blueprint, details. Class settings, no debug object, launch in Launchpad. Let's search no viewport in Blueprint Editor. Viewport and component tab missing from Blueprint. Did you tick them into Windows dropdown? They don't appear in the Windows tab dropdown. So let's see. Window. Yep, details, Blueprint, palette, bookmarks, sequencer. They're not here. That's what this person said. Clicking edit in the context menu of a blueprint, and then it's suggested in a full editor. Okay, so what if I close that, put this, double click on the launch pad. Maybe if we go here into the content browser, go to our top down level here into the blueprints, and then we open this. Open in the blueprint editor. We still don't see the do you have this prompt perhaps? Details, component tags, components, asset, user, data. Is editor only. Show sections. What if we save that? Class settings. Parent class, actor component, advanced. Blueprint display name, categories, namespaces, orbit pitch. Let's go back to our page here. Content browser. Okay, so that's not this. Selecting a component in the component list selects the viewport too. Search components. Parent class, actor component. Okay, it's not what we want. Class defaults. Okay, let's close out of this. Add element. Trash. What if we add maybe it's the type of component that's incorrect. Or the type of blueprint. added to any actor. So this is an actor, right? This is a class actor, parent class object. This actor instance, mobility, editor only, false, BP launchpad. Okay. Edit BP launchpad. Edits the blueprint class. Image media, light mixer, load layout. Remove layout. Okay, a bunch of warnings coming out there. Just had to check to make sure here. No viewport in blueprint editor UE5. Help, I lost the viewport in the blueprint thingy. That's the exact same problem we have. Try the window option up top. Class defaults. Let's see. Window viewport. You can reopen the event graph by double-clicking event graph. If the blueprint tab is closed, you can rename it. Opening the class defaults and then opening the full blueprint editor. What you want to choose is the class defaults tab. From there you will be able to open the full blueprint editor. Event tick, event begin play. Dude, we still don't have that. Okay, I don't know if we're going to be able to get this. This is some straight up buggy shit right here. So, okay, if we did have the window or the viewport editor, we would be able to change that. But really what's important here is this graph. So next to the viewport tab is a construction script and an event graph. You should start with the event graph. Okay, a selection of the most commonly used event tables are right away. Box, select the box component in the components tab. Okay, collision. Okay, so on component begin overlap, that's what we want. On component overlap, box overlap actors. Returns an array of components that overlap the given axis aligned box. Do we want components or boxes to overlap? Any nodes connected to this event will execute when the overlap box component, when something overlaps the box component of your launchpad. Okay, so there's a couple different nodes here. There's on overlap. So I think the word that we're looking for here is overlap. Let's look at all the different overlaps that we have. Component overlap actors, component overlap components, So there's actually a differentiation here. I think capsule overlap components. So these return arrays of the overlapping. We just want on. We want like a more of a callback kind of situation. So maybe is that called event? Event dispatchers? Create event. That's probably not what we want. Okay, so they want us to add there's no component. There's no components in this blueprint. Let's delete this dude. This thing is cursed. So let's go ahead, select both of these, add new blueprint script. It can be attached to scene components. What did they want us to add? Did they want us to add an actor blueprint? Yeah, they keep calling the launchpad a actor, so I think that's why we originally tried an actor, but maybe what we need is a scene component. Let's try scene component. We're going to put it in the same thing as before. We're going to call it BP launchpad component. Details, cooking, collision, asset user data, rendering, component task, component tick, functions, event begin play. Can we add component? Can we add a component node? Get child components. Components activation. Assign on component activated. Assign on component deactivated. Is component. What about get child component? I don't want. I want the actual like get the components. Quant. Break, utilities. Damn guys, I think we're learning that Unreal Engine is actually dog shit. Alright. Get components, or no components in blueprint. (2015) create root component. Detail panel disappears. Okay. Gonna add a variable. Just delete that. I'm looking at these, trying to see if these have, so if we were to open this, see this does have a viewport. BP top-down character does have a viewpoint. Okay, so let's look at BP top-down character and see what the difference is between that and ourself. I think this was the character somewhere right here. Character. Block, lighting, pillars, playground, player start. Okay, so maybe in Launchpad, let's go to our content drawer. Let's go ahead and delete both of these here. Force delete. Control spacebar. Okay. Actor component. Next. Put it in there in blueprints. BP launch pad. Create blueprint class. Let's close out of that. And let's try to put these two components here, right? The cube and the box collision. Let's try to put them, cannot attach as it is not a scene component. Okay, so let's add a new blueprint script, scene component, next. We're going to put in top down in blueprints. BP launchpad. Scene. Okay, go ahead, exit out of that. So now let's go ahead and put the cube and the collision in that. Perfect, okay. So now we have our scene root, we have our scene component, and within those we have those two components. So now let's see what happens if we actually open up BP Launchpad scene. Still don't have any components on this. It doesn't give us anything there. Functions. Cube and the box collision. So like these are literally inside that blueprint. Okay, so how to attach components to blueprint. How to attach components to blueprint. Adding a component to an actor. working with components in blueprints. So variables are actually component. Okay, interesting. There should be in this blueprint editor there. So if we go ahead and open up this, edit, there should be something here. My blueprint. What if we add macro variable function search components? Blueprint does not have components. Okay, it's not really helping us. It's just a bunch of crap. Missing component tab in blueprint. Okay, that's kind of what we want. Nope. Clone reparent the child blueprint to the new blueprint. Okay, so no component in blueprint UE5. Let's add UE5. And bring up the blueprint context menu. Okay. Find context. Component. There's not even like a get component, like just the component associated with this object. Damn, like what the hell is going on here? Compile? There's still no components. Delete. Add. Different types of components. Custom. BP Launchpad. Physics animation. Blueprint. Actor components have a transform known as scene components, and those that can be rendered are primitive components. Actor component. Next. Let's not even bother naming it at this point. We're just wasting a bunch of time. Okay. Can I take these objects, cube and box and put them in this component. Asset user data, miscellaneous, all. Can I put this in there? Can I attach this to here? Maybe it's because I'm adding a component to this object, but really what I should be doing is on this launchpad, edit, attach to okay. I like this attached to. That kind of seems like the right actor, persistent level, convert actor, advanced, ignores origin, 0 to unsaved. What are these unsaved? Can I add a content drawer, BP Launchpad? Asset actions, asset localization, view documentation, actor component. Base class for all components are a special type of object that actors can attach to themselves as sub-objects. Actor components, scene components, and primitive components. Engine must register them. This happens automatically for components of a sub-actor. Register component function. Okay, maybe we need to register the objects. So let's go ahead and open this. Back to here. Let's go ahead and edit. Edit. Okay. BP Launchpad, edit in the full Blueprint browser. Let's go ahead and add a register. Nope. Delete that. Can't delete it. Can we delete it here? Yes, we can. Event graph. Register. Is there a register component? Because that's not an action. We want a function that is register component. Nope. Find nearest actor. Let's see. Oh. So all this does is it finds the nearest actor. No. Why don't we just make a dummy variable here? Set new var. We'll put this here. And I don't know, we'll set that as just a random Boolean value. What if we save this? Alright, we got a YouTube video here. Yeah, there's just no components tab in our motherfucking blueprint editor. This is incredibly frustrating. So it's just really old stuff here. Christ, dude, this Unreal Engine is a bunch of shit. You heard it here first, guys. This is like absolute dog shit. It just doesn't have what we need here. Blueprint script component. Actor component. Cancel. Let's add the one that we already added, this one. Custom. BP Launchpad. Let's go ahead and attach this. Attach to, can't even attach anything to it. Maybe it's just because this launchpad object is not a box-shaped trigger used to generate overlap events in the level. Why don't we do that? Let's just delete this launchpad. This stuff is a piece of shit. Let's add a trigger box right there. Selection mode, add recently placed actor. Let's add a trigger box. Let's put one right there. Okay, we have our trigger box. Trigger box. Let's rename this to Launchpad. Collision component. Let's go ahead and add a blueprint script. We're going to call this a scene component. Next. We're going to call this Launchpad. We're going to go into top down into blueprints. We're going to create that blueprint class. Still don't have the viewport in the editor there. Let's go ahead, delete these ones, new actor, all these other ones that we made here. Delete, delete, force delete, delete, force delete, delete, force delete, Launchpad. Let's save. Now let's go back to the main editor window. And let's add a cube. All right, we're just going to call it cube. Then let's go ahead and add our custom launchpad. Let's put the launchpad in there. Let's put the cube in there. Okay. So now we go back to the editor. We still don't have any components. Well, at least this cube right here, it said inherited C++. Maybe edit in C++. Just doesn't open anything. Oh, what a failure. On component begin overlap. Like, you kind of need to be able to say that there's components. Place actor. Replace selected actor with. Attach to. Edit. Rename. Delete. Ray tracing, do not spawn. Settings. Hide viewport UI. Real Engine 5, no components in blueprint editor. Okay, this kind of seems like what we want. Drag to a blueprint graph. Can I drag this up here? Convert this actor into a reusable blueprint class. Okay. Maybe that's what we needed to click this whole time. Replace the selected actor with an instance of the new blueprint class inherited from the selected parent class. Okay, so let's put this in our top-down blueprints. Oh, we did it! We finally did it! Wow, that took forever. That was not a good experience. That was terrible debugging experience for that. We had no idea what any of this crap meant. Let's go ahead and delete that. We might not even need this. Okay. Well, it doesn't seem like we can delete it, so we're just gonna have to kind of put up with that. Let's go ahead and edit in Blueprint. Finally, we have the components here in the viewport. Okay. There's an event graph for the launch pad. There's also, seems like there's different event graphs. Okay, and we have our components. Jesus, we can bring the cube in here. Get cube. This is the cube. Then we have on component. What was the name of the behavior in the tutorial? Event, components, overlap. Overlap. Event actor begins overlap. Okay, actually, wait up. If we click here on this one, you can add a bunch of events to this. Okay, so okay, Google, send Roomba home. We don't want the Roomba to end this. On component wake, on component hip, on component begin overlap. There it is. Cube. I don't think we can actually delete that. Okay, we finally found this. On component begin overlap. Why was that not showing up as an addable thing? Okay, we finally got it. Test the overlapping actor. On component will execute when anything. You actually want to execute our launching behavior though if the overlapping thing is our avatar or pawn. Okay, so other actor. Okay, so we want equals. Actually, the specific version of equal that they have, equal object. So equal object. equals time management enum vector 4 class assets assert equal object. Okay. So get the player pawn. So this is a function. Get player pawn. Index in the player control list. Okay. Go ahead, save that. Okay, so you want to see whether the other actor and the player pawn are the same. Actual, expected, right? So if the other actor is the player index 0, another way to do this would be just with the kind of vanilla equals that we have. Okay, cast to character, object, launch character. Okay, cast to character. We want that to go there, and we want the control flow to go here. And then we want a launch character. Launch character. Okay, so this goes to here. That's the target, and our launch velocity, let's say 1,000 or 100. Okay, compile. Error. Target is function assert. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Let's do the just normal vanilla equal that they recommend here, and then the branch flow control. So if the other actor and the player pawn are both the same, right, the control flow goes from here, and if it's true, then we want to cast to character and launch the character. All right, compile. It's good, it works. Let's go ahead and go back. Stop. Can close out of this. Let's go ahead and hit play. Where's our launch box? It's right here. Okay. So the problem is that when we hit play, let's hit pause. What is this exactly? BP top-down controller. Right, is that the name of the character? Let's go ahead and stop that. Let's open up our edit launchpad blueprint. Returns the player pawn for the player controller. So if we hit play, can we actually see what's here? Pause simulation. Okay, nothing happened. Current value equals none. Current value equals none. So maybe if we hit play, minimize, move our guy. Okay, he's definitely touching it now. Go back to our thing. Actor, unknown class. What is the return value of this? Okay, if we hover over these, currently it's returning false because these two things is an unknown class and an unknown class. Both get player pawn and on component begin overlap are giving us garbage here. So get actor, get all actors. Cube launchpad. Maybe it's because the cube itself is an actual physical object. Maybe if we physics of the cube. Generate overlap events, yes. Block all dynamic. World dynamic object that no collision. Why can't I change this? We're going to try to do this for the bajillionth time here. We're going to add an actor. This actor is going to have a cube. This cube is going to have a box. All right, this cube here, we're gonna lower it, put it over there. We're going, actually, let's get rid of that. Let's add a box. Let's convert this into a actor, top down. Let's actually use the one that we already have. Select actor blueprint. We're gonna edit this in the blueprint editor. Let's go ahead to the blueprint editor, actor blueprint. Let's add an event here on component overlap. On overlap with the box, we're gonna add a, can I actually copy from here? I wonder if I can copy. Control C. Yeah, I can. Okay, that's kind of cool. And I want the other actor to be this. Save. Compile. This all works. Try to hit play. Okay, here is the box. He is not launching up. So if we go to the blueprint editor, what is the value of other actor here? Unknown class. I wish there was a better way to debug this where you could see clear. No debug data, unknown class, no debug, return value. Stop. Is there a actor? What about a player? What about a capsule? Non-context sensitive. Get capsule component. No, that's going to be a component for the individual thing. Maybe it's just 0 indexed or 1 indexed. Good to go. Hit play. Go back to our game here. Nothing is happening. Hit stop. Maybe this capsule's too high up. Oh yeah, that is an issue. Okay, so this box needs to be at 0, 0, 0. Okay, and then we're gonna move it into here, and we're gonna put it right at the entrance of this little ramp. Okay, and let's also hit the R key. Oh, no. So we actually fucked up here. We made the position of the box relative to the actor blueprint change, but what we really wanted is the actual center of the scene itself. So now the box is 0, 0, 0. Now that we're here, now let's scale it. Let's make it wider so it's the whole ramp. Let's make it a little bit thicker, a little bit taller. Okay. Save. Okay, so now we are going to hit that component. Let's go back to our editor, compile, hit play. I don't know if we have to be hitting play there, but alright, let's see. Okay, he's definitely in it. Let's go back to our editor here. No debug data. Okay, so actually, boom, here we go. BP top-down character C0. So it is getting hit. Let's do 0. Okay, so the other actor move him again. Let's go back to the editor here. BP top-down character class. Get player pawn. Condition is cast to character object. Let's stop this. Let's kind of cheat here. When an overlap happens and that actor is the actor itself, then this will be true. Then go ahead and cast to that object and launch it. So this is actually almost a didactic example here, because anything that goes in collision will be itself. Okay, so now let's go back. We have PP top-down character. This is also PP top-down character. True is actually happening, right? BP top-down character, and then maybe we just get rid of this. Put the actor is the target actor object reference is not compatible with character object reference. Let's make this 10 times bigger. Alrighty. So this is not how can this not return nothing here? Equal object. So let's put that there. I think this might be getting a little bugged here. So maybe equal actor. Object float bool rotator string. Keyboard events. What if we just do that? Compile, hit play, stop, hit play on this. Ha! Alright guys, that's about what we're gonna get today. We got stuck a lot on here. There's still a lot of stuff that isn't really familiar to a little Unity dev. We had to simplify this. Basically, it seems like the equality of the collider wasn't quite working, but we did finally get it to work there at the end by saying as soon as anything overlaps this box component, take that actor that overlapped with it. That actor is going to have some specific character property or object within it, and then launch the character, which basically sets a velocity on it where that character is the one that overlapped it. So overall experience here with blueprints, kind of confusing, lots of stuff to get used to, lots of stuff to learn, but we are making progress. So that's it for today. Tune in tomorrow for maybe more Unreal or maybe something else.